This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. It seems some of you guys liked the video that I did the other day talking about a Skype lesson that I'd done with the chap, Tom, and talking about sort of some of how I tried to think about melody. Again, this is just, if you're liking my playing at all and thinking about, like, what are you thinking, I'm hoping these videos can give you a little bit of insight into that. It's kind of a bit of a tricky thing, but instead of talking about licks, instead of talking about gear, kind of trying to break into some of this other sort of thinking, which maybe might help you guys. And it doesn't require a whole lot of theory, although you will want to know your major scale well. And I'm talking here really about more about thinking like a singer. And if you know any singers, I'm married to one, what they're doing when they're singing, very little is going through their minds in terms of, like, what are the notes, like thinking about note names or anything like that. And I was just chatting to my wife yesterday, and she said, like, improvising on a guitar must be quite hard because you've got to kind of think about. That's her now. I'm just making a video talking about you, bud.
You're filming a video talking about me?
Yeah.
That's not very nice.
Well, I'm not saying anything negative yet. Right. How long are you going to be?
I'm on my way home, so
all right.
15, 20 minutes.
Alright, that'll be perfect. See you in a bit.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Anyway, that was the wife. Or my girlfriend, if I want to make her jealous. Right, so, no. Anyway, I was talking, she said it must be difficult to improvise because you've got to think about, like, what the notes are and what they sound like. So I said, well, actually, when you do it a bit more, you're not really thinking about notes so much. It's kind of, you try and have this brain finger thing going on. So I'm not saying that I know at all times, this is for sure the way that I'm thinking, like, what note I'm hitting. Actually, quite a lot of this is based on sort of memory, but also this kind of thing where you have, like, a brain-finger connection, more like a singer, where it's just like, if I put my fingers here, I'm going to hit that note. And then what if I hit, I think this is going to be, and then, so having a thing where you're not thinking too hard can really help. Now, another thing happened yesterday. My wife forced me to watch Wicked, the musical, and there was this one particular tune in it, and I think it's called I'm Not That Girl, and I was probably improvising something around it in the intro there. So, a few songs have this in common, actually. So, I'm actually playing here in C, but you're going to be hearing things in B flat if you wanted to play along. So, just thinking about a parent scale, and this is something I said the other day, like the fifth sounds quite good over almost any of the chords. So, chord 1, chord 2, chord 3, chord 4, chord 5, chord 6, chord 7. That's why it makes such a good note to start melodies on, in my opinion. Now, another note that sounds really good over any chord is the 9, any diatonic chord. So if we're not changing keys and stuff, then this note here, so the D if we're playing in C, or if you're playing along to this, it will be a C that you have to play. So, over chord 1, sounds beautiful. Over chord 2, it's fine. Chord 3, chord 4, chord 5, chord 6, chord 7. So these are quite good notes to start melodies on. Anyway, so as I was saying, this Not That Girl. So what I would do is I would pick tunes that I think have a really pretty melody. Oftentimes, it's not necessarily coming from, like, some modern pop music can be, like, there's loads of good stuff that you can find, so whether it's someone like Lizzie McAlpine, Little Blue by Jacob Collier has a really nice melody, some Post Malone stuff has really nice melodies, but you find these really sophisticated melodies in not just jazz, but also musicals. So, there's a musical called The Waitress as well, which I've done a video similar to this on before, where it's kind of like, I really appreciate what they're doing there. Or Disney films have them as well. I think the melody goes something like this. And it's just super pretty. And that can be a really pretty thing. So if you find, like, try and learn that in like a bunch of other keys, and you don't necessarily, as I'm thinking about this more shape bass. So I'm going from 8 to 7, 10, or I'm going root 7, 6, 2, 5. There you go, that's like another. So take like little motifs like this is probably what we're thinking of, and like in composed music, also a tune in Tarzan, I think, or is it Hercules? It's called Go the Distance. It's one of those two. And it does this. And just that little... Whoops. It happens to hit like the there's the fifth, and of each chord underneath, that's the third, fifth, that's the third. But you don't have to do the theory part of it, is what I'm saying. If you kind of know the major scale all over the neck in quite a deep way, and you do a lot of this, it starts to become a little bit more second nature, where you're not really thinking. All of that to say, I think, listen or try and play along to some musicals, or take, you know, bits that you don't find awful from musicals and listen to what those melodies are doing. And if we can inject like a tiny percentage of some of that melodicism into our own playing, I think that's another area where we can really make ourselves sound like we knew what we were doing, in my opinion. I hope this was okay to talk about. If you like Wicked, let me know in the comments. Cheers.